Finally, Intel has given us something that is worthy to talk about. I mean, seriously, since Sandy Bridge, right? That is like, I can't even remember, a billion years ago. Finally, Intel has given us something to remember as a latest generation cutting edge product. And this is their combination ever since AMD has climbed back onto the ring with the Zen series CPUs. You can actually see my reviews of the different AMD generations of the CPUs that I've reviewed over time. You can actually check that out right there. But this is actually one of the best comebacks Intel has ever came back in history. This is the 12th gen Core i7-12700. The naming conventions. Yeah. But anyway, this is finally a proper CPU that is worthy of being called a generational leap. And yes, leap, it does leap. So how good is it? Let's find out. Hey guys, this is Chester here. You guys are watching our channel right here at Chester and Unboxing. So before we continue, it would really mean a lot to us if you can help us to like our videos and share our channel, because we would really appreciate it if you guys could help support us more, since we are just a growing channel. But anyway, we do have an upcoming video about building a desktop, a streamer setup. So get subscribed using this CPU, get subscribed and find out more about that. Moving on to this is the Core i7 12700. So there is the Core i9 for the money blow away one, for the i7, the i5 and the i3, and not forgetting of course their budget, so the Pentium and the Celeron. So the i7 represents a it represents a high end in their hierarchy. So the high end, which is actually very good for gaming and content creation. So if you are just a gamer, just get the i5. i5 is very good enough already. But if you have to game and produce content, then you would want to step up to the i7. When would you want to use the i9? If you got money lah. Yeah, if you really want the best of the best, then get the i9. Okay, so today we'll be looking at the non-K version, because the particular needs of this system isn't really to overclock, but more of to be stable. Alright, new packaging, I realize, and they really make it simpler. It's just 2 shades of blue, which is there's nothing wrong about it. And yeah, so something really new, something new about this CPU, this generation, is that they introduced the new P cores and E cores. P for performance, E for efficient. So the P cores are like the main star of the show, right? The fast ones. And the E cores are actually the efficient ones. So the E cores, they consume less power, but they are much more efficient in carrying out tasks. Okay, so this particular unit has 8 performance cores and 4 efficient cores. So for a total of 12 cores. Yes, 12 freaking cores in one CPU. I mean, thank you AMD. Before AMD started, we are like, what? The i7 was like freaking 4 cores. So yeah, now we have 12 and it's i7. So really very grateful for competition, right? So the P cores, their frequency is from 2.1 to 4.9 gigahertz. The E cores, they run from 1.6 to 3.6 gigahertz. So think of them as separate units, but they work together to get the job done. So if let's say you're running a less intensive application, like maybe you're just watching internet, or you're just using Microsoft Word, then the E cores will be doing the bulk of the work. But if you're doing gaming, you're doing producing, you're mixing, you're doing Cinebench, then the P cores will be the one that is producing the work. But of course, all this kind of thing is quite invisible to the user. It's really between the CPU and the system, the OS, that really handles it. Okay, so let's open this up. Can't wait. So yes, something new about this generation is that it is actually longer. Last time the CPUs tend to be square. Now it's a little bit of a rectangle. Okay, so I'm just saying it. Okay, so but something new about the cooler also. So the old coolers are shit. I'm just gonna say it up front. They are shit. Okay, they are loud, they are small, and they are hot, and they can't get things done. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So for this generation, Intel has also released a new line of coolers. So if I can get this open. Okay, finally. So yeah, looks good. You can see how nice it is. Nice. Okay, so for this generation, Intel has released their Lamina coolers. I think Lamina. Yeah, Lamina coolers. Lamina. Yeah. So this is actually the RM1. So this is the the i9, they actually have another cooler, even more powerful one with heat pipes and everything. So this is the mid-range one, the i7, i5s, if I believe. They come with this, and below they come with another smaller one, even smaller. So they have 3 tiers of coolers. So yeah, if you want to use this cooler with this CPU, can, because it's not the it's the non-K version, right? But no guarantees it will last you long, because Intel, they work their way by boosting until it cannot boost anymore, which means that it will boost until it's like 90 plus degrees. 90 plus degrees, and then it will go down. So it's quite ridiculous if you think of it. Like, to make my CPU run 90 plus degrees every day for even for just 1 minute per workload, I'm not very comfortable with it. Like, if you tell me 85, I'm really quite uncomfortable. 80 still okay, but hey, it's small, I give you that, right? And it looks good. I'll say that for generations of shit, this looks good. And there's a blue ring to it, but this is not RGB, unfortunately. Only the high-end one, it has RGB. This is the something stuffs you want to see about, you don't really want to see about, just some quick installation guide and things like that, and a sticker if you want to put on your CPU. Okay, down to the chip itself. So we have already mentioned the P cores and the E cores, right? So both of them, they function like separate units, like what I mentioned, but they actually work together to create a combine of 12 total cores. So in terms of generational performance, they are really, really good. Like you can see in Cinebench, we have done a couple of benchmarks. In Cinebench R23 single core, it runs about 1862. Okay, in multi-core, it can run, it hits a target of 21,500, so 21,500 points, roughly around there. So just a bit of comparison, right? 21.5K, that is the ballpark of the Ryzen 9 5900X. Okay, FYI, that is a previous generation 12 core all P CPU. And the Ryzen 5000, they are already a big leap compared to 3000, and the Intel is like on par with that. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is the Ryzen 9, the pricing is around your i9. Your i7 competes with the Ryzen 7 in pricing. So technically, the i7 should be on par with the R7 5800X, right? Because of cost, but it undercuts it by a margin that it actually fights above. It actually competes with the R9. That's how capable this chip is. It's not really because of pure performance, it's because its relation to the price that it makes it so amazing. Again, thank you competition. Yeah. Okay, and in Geekbench, right? Geekbench 5, a single score it manages 1595, and multi-score it can manage about 10k points. So nothing to scoff at. This chip is a very, very capable chip. Alright, that you will not be disappointed. I mean, unless you want to run 8x8K camera streams lah, then maybe you go and get an epic processor lah, huh? This is a very, very good chip. But with a new generation comes generally get it. With a new generation, this chip has a new pin layout. So I was mentioning about it being elongated. Yeah, this chip right now runs on LGA 1700. So it used to be 1150 something, right? Then 1200. So now it's 1700. There's more pins because more cores, so more power needed. So with that said, new socket means that CPU coolers, their compatibility is affected. So that's why all the cooler brands are trying to release adapters, brackets, or revisions of that. Stay tuned to our upcoming CPU build because we are using the cooler that is compatible with this, and yeah, there's not really a lot of coolers that's compatible with i7-12700 at this time of writing lah. So yeah. Okay, but in terms of integrated graphics, because this is not the F version, F means there's no graphics. Why F? I don't know. Should write equal cancel G, right? No graphic. Anyway, so this is the full fat version with the graphics. So the graphics is the UHD 770. And yeah, I don't really know if that's any good, but it has 32 execution units. So that is a jump compared to the old 24 EUs that it used to have. And this UHD 770, the clock of the graphics clock is from 300 to about 1.5 gigahertz. So you might think, because you know last time in the past these chips were used to be hot, right? Like super hot. So yeah, not much have changed in terms of that. So although this chip is rated at 65 watts, so that is 65 watts at its base clock. So 65 watts at 2.1 gigahertz. That's how much power it consumes. But right now Intel, they really don't give a damn really, so they just release their boost power. So the boost power for this chip is 180 watts.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Yes, you heard that right, 180 watts. And that I believe should be the TDP of this processor. So in order to hit its maximum clock of about around 4.8, 4.9 gigahertz, right, you need to have a cooler that can satisfy 180 watts. I'm gonna get the performance you have paid for. So yeah, that is a hot processor. But yeah lah, I mean, it can achieve those performance numbers lah. So you know, nothing to really complain at, right? But this is non-K, so the K processors, they're even hotter.
Oh, hell no!
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's a review and rundown of our brand new, spanking new Intel 12th Gen i7-12700 processor. Oh, these naming conventions. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. I'm Chester, that's all for today. See you guys.